Hello and welcome to the Daily Brown Bag. Today we're going to be talking about the Phantom 2 update. I'm Chad Hill and I'm joined by Adam Stetzer.
Yeah, good morning, Chad. Welcome to the Brown Bag. We actually have some pretty important news this week to be talking about. The Google updates, while they say they happen over 500 of them a year, the big ones really don't come along all that often, and then there's a lot of drama around it. And Chad, the story unfolding here, there was a lot of rumbling, as you know, we've been talking about with our SEO resellers for the last week or two, that people were seeing ranking changes. Small businesses were calling in and asking about it. Some people were bumped up, some people not doing so well. And people had started naming this the Phantom update because there was evidence in all of our mind out here in the search engine optimization world that this was happening, but Google wouldn't confirm it. Most recently, it's been called the Phantom 2 because this has happened before, going back to 2013. And most recently, with a lot of pressure, Google finally officially confirmed, yes, there was indeed a rollout of a change to their algorithm and how it assesses content quality on the website. So we want to talk about the Google Phantom 2 update today, and specifically what they're saying and what we're seeing, and then what you can do about it if you had a negative impact. Google, as usual, is not giving us a lot of details on what the specific changes that they made were. They never like to tell us that, but they are saying it wasn't Panda and it was not Penguin. I want to repeat that. It was not Panda or Penguin, the two anti-spam routines that we've gotten to know that are sort of outside the core, that come along behind the core algorithm and clean things up, sometimes slap people down. This is not targeting specific sites or any particular category. We've seen that with the payday loans updates and other various categories that Google thought were being overrun and becoming too commercial. And they're stressing this was an overall update to the core algorithm. The CEO of Hub Pages is describing it as just a giant whack across the board, which is interesting, Chad, because we've been looking at our clients and on the whole, they're moving up. So you got to remember there's over 200 signals that Google uses for ranking, and there's all sorts of things that could impact a site. And Search Engine Land, when trying to take into account all the data they're seeing and all the discussion, is calling this a quality update, really focusing on quality. And for sure, Google has not been shy about talking about the importance it places on the quality of content and the website itself. Of course, that's what it's all about. They want the best user experience, because that's what keeps people coming back to Google. If they can be the best at organizing that data and getting you to what you want, they can put their ads around it and they can make money. So they're driving that all the way down. So we need to echo some of those sentiments. If you're worried about the Google Phantom 2 update, or perhaps have low quality or thin content, this is not good for users. And the Google bots are taking more action to make sure they show high quality stuff. So this means everything that you do on your website needs to be well organized, the URL you choose, how fast your site is loading, that site speed, the load time, the way your site is organized. Most recently, of course, is it mobile friendly? And the content itself, Chad, we've talked about this over and over and over again. The quality of the content needs to be good, needs to be accompanied by relevant images, and at best, custom designed infographics that are super relevant to what you're talking about. It all has to be formed around good keywords that make sense for what the searcher is looking for, that search intent, and what you're providing. It isn't stretching too far or sounding unnatural. And at the end of the day, you need to really make sure you're engaging with that audience, because that audience engagement is really a measure of how good the quality of your content is, which will result in things like good time on site, low bounce rate, and how often your content is shared, which of course leaves social signals. So today, Chad, the Phantom 2 update, focusing on quality. This is not about links, and this is not Panda, which it sounds a lot like it would be, and it's certainly not Penguin because it's not link related. So Chad, what can we tell folks out in our SEO reseller community to do if they were impacted?
And Adam, it's a great question, and these are really difficult times when of course, if you went up and you improved in the rankings and your traffic's improved, you're celebrating all the hard work that you put into your site is paying off. It's fantastic. On the other hand, if you've seen a drop, you want to look at some of the things, Adam, you just talked about. So I think the first thing to really understand is to look at when that traffic drop actually happened. So look in your Google Analytics to really understand, was this related to this Phantom 2, now the quality update? This started rolling out on 4/29. We saw it kind of roll out over the week or so after that. So look at your analytics, make sure that's what it's related to, because the reality is there can be hundreds of other things happening at the same time. If you have, for example, maybe your Google local listing has duplicate information or the wrong category, there's all kinds of other things. So you have to really isolate it down to did something change that led to my ranking drops, or was it nothing was changed and all of a sudden my ranking drops and my traffic drop happened? That might mean or will mean that it's related to this content update. So if that did happen, you want to follow the guidelines that you talked about. I mean, you said thin content, which I think a lot of people don't really know what thin content is. I typically think of thin content when I go to a website and you look at the page, there's a picture, maybe there's not a picture, and there's just very basic text, a couple sentences, which a lot of times is, if you're a plumber, you might say, I'm a plumber, I handle everything in your house. That really would be considered relatively thin content. You really want to go into what are the specific services you provide, what things make you a little different. If you can work into that piece of content, maybe your geographic area, that's going to be helpful in building out a more differentiated and useful piece of content for a potential person reading or looking for a plumber in your area. So go back and check your content. Make sure that you've got that. Look at your homepage, because a lot of times people don't have much information on their homepage. And typically the homepage is the highest, is often the page that ranks for many of your keywords. So look at it, see what's on your homepage, and consider that. The other thing you want to do is be aware of the Google quality guidelines. We'll include a link to that in the transcription of this document. So check that out and read through it, see what Google says is good quality versus not good quality. And then I think finally, just don't take shortcuts. Really try to think about what information you want to convey. Think about the audience. Would you, flip the telescope around a little bit? Would you be willing to, if you were looking for your service, would you find the information on your website useful and helpful or not? Be the judge of that. And I think, again, that this isn't rocket science. This is really basic stuff. So get to work, get in there and make better content.
Excellent advice, Chad. So just to recap, the Google Phantom 2 update started on April 29th. As you said, Chad, we saw it rolling for at least a week, well into about May 6th or 7th. Now it's pretty well confirmed around the SEO community and from Google itself that this was a quality update. This is not Panda. This is not Penguin. This is not backlinks related. This is really about getting good engagement, good quality on your site. One last word in closing here, Chad. We did back in 2013 when the first Phantom update came out. We did see it closely followed by a Penguin update, which was their view of backlinks and those that they thought were good and those that they thought were manipulative. So keep your eyes out into the future. That could be coming. This would be typical to their pattern. They like to do releases in bursts. So you might see this quality one that feels a lot like Panda, but they're saying is now part of the core, followed by another that might be the cousin of Penguin. And then again, may also be folded into the core. Well, that's our brown bag today covering the Google algorithm update. Hope this was helpful. And we always ask you subscribe. We'd love to see you back for another video.